Sunday, May 7th, 1989.
A date which will live in infamy.
Live from Nashville, an exclusive pay-per-view event of epic proportion. Wrestle War 89, the Music City Showdown. This time, they've finally done it. Cringe at the awesome firepower of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, fighter for the values that made America great, as he takes on Japan's corporate mercenary Ric Flair in a world title match. It'll be grueling hand-to-hand combat as the Nature Boy seeks to liberate the coveted world heavyweight belt away from its current occupying force. All to avenge his betrayal by a former comrade-in-arms, Michael P.S. Hayes. Not since Pearl Harbor has revenge been such a motivating factor.
We indeed, Jim, are at war. The biggest fucking, what was it that they said? The biggest double cross since Pearl Harbor.
The biggest betrayal since Pearl Harbor.
There you go.
Not since the Warsaw Pact. Not since the Nazi war trials has there been an event like this.
You just don't have a clue. But we are here. And we said it last episode at the end. We are in greener pastures, at least, with the product. We are much better off than we were last time.
Okay, I'm glad you are of that opinion. Because as we ended last episode, the three things that I was loving were Michael P.S. Hayes on commentary, which kind of fades away about halfway through this run.
Yeah.
The danger zone, which makes 0.0 appearances, and Danny Spivey with a mic in front of him. And that also doesn't happen very much. So those are my three favorite things from the previous period. And this time they're like, nah, man, you know what I'm going to give you? More Ricky Steamboat promos.
Oh, my God.
Can I get the Iron Sheik a mic? Can I put a mic in front of him? So I'm glad you're viewing this as greener pastures, but this was a rough one. A rough string after the previous ones for me to get through. Yeah. And, I'll let you be good cop. I'll be bad cop. I'm good with that. But I guess my question for you is, who are for this run of episodes we watched, who are the three talents you were most excited to have a mic in front of them?
Oh, have a mic in front of him. Michael Hayes is number one.
Okay. He's on commentary. We'll count it though. Sure, Michael Hayes.
But like when he cuts a promo, it's money. That
work. Truth. And he does kind of fade away as the process goes on here.
Ooh, we're starting to have to scrape the bottom of the barrel now because
that's what I'm saying.
This. Yeah. I mean,
so we'll go through this. Yeah, Sullivan's, Varsity Club, like they got their thing. Even they weren't on the mic. It just seemed like they were always fucking over a title match. So as we go through here, maybe you'll be able to say, no, man, remember that Ranger Ross promo? I'll be like, no, I don't. No. But please remind me. But definitely, let's get into it and see where our differences of opinions may fall.
Yep. And we start with, what is it, the fucking April 15th, correct? Is the next one?
16th, I believe.
16th, okay. And right off the bat, I say this. We have an angle to begin with Iron Sheik and Sting. It's not fresh at all. This feels like... I feel so bad because this is what I always think. And, you had, let everyone know, it may not have been last episode, maybe the episode before that. Iron Sheik was your first favorite wrestler, which I love. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad because for me... it's Sting only because he was, in the first match I ever saw. But I love that it was Iron Sheik for you. But when you think about it, when you started watching wrestling, he was like a top guy still. He was revered as a guy he was the WWF champion.
I'm sorry. When I got into wrestling, he was kind of in that tag team with Nikolai Volkov. And so, and they were a pretty dominant tag team for that time period as well. So, yeah, he was kind of fuel in WWE, and like we said last time, we're kind of down to the last gallon in the tank or so. The opening match, I believe it's Bob Orton and Hacksaw.
Yes.
Versus two jobbers, and then Dick Murdoch's like, no, I want to wrestle. So Dick Murdoch hops into a match with Bobby Sigler. We get very hard at ringside, no hero. So I don't know if now Hacksaw's been released from the Yamasaki Corporation. Post-match is the beatdown on Dick Murdoch. But Yeah. I said last time, like, Dick Murdoch's not my favorite thing. And Dick Murdoch and Bob Orton in a story definitely doesn't move it up my list of shit I like.
No, and that was one of the big lowlights for me as well. Is oh great, we have Bob Orton, and then get over it, Bob. He's not a junior now. You are. All right. Great move on trying to get heat because you're over the hill, which is sad because when I thought about it, I think Bob Orton Jr. at this point wasn't that old for today's standards. He might have been 40. He might have been 40.
Yeah.
Dick Murdoch was old as fuck. Well, again, not for now. Dick Murdoch was probably 45, maybe, something.
Yeah. I mean, 80s 45 is different than New Millennium
For
45.
sure. I mean, he's an old man here. And, oh, my God. Another one. Everyone reveres him as a great promo. Dick Murdoch's like, well, I'll tell you something. You want me to get in the ring? And I'm like, oh, dude, come on. Like, you're so forced, man. I don't know what happened here. It's a waste of time, this angle.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I was kind of looking at the big stories we had going into Music City Showdown. And so we get Orton versus Murdoch is one. And then another one, Sting versus Sheik.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think Sting's losing to Sheik.
No.
Maybe in a Persian club contest or something, but otherwise, I don't think he's losing to him. So the stories kind of for this cycle were just not nearly as exciting as they were the last time, for the most part.
I agree with that. There's nuggets. I think maybe because I know what's coming and, you know, what ends up happening on the show, which, again, we'll get into that because they fuck that up as well. Yeah. How about, though, you want to talk about stories, though? Come on. They were telling stories. How about that Randy Rhodes, Jack Victory angle, buddy? 2 weeks in a row. Man. Same angle.
Jack Victory versus Randy Rhodes 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Woo.
Paul E had a burner phone.
Yeah.
Teddy sees the interference, just doesn't care anymore. I don't get paid for this shit. And then we get our Western Union replay, the fastest way to send money.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Jack Victor's versus Randy Rhodes. Listen, I'm more interested in that than Bob Orton and Dick Murdoch.
Easily.
We get our Taz flashbacks as we hear JR kick it to Rhubarb Jones in the ring. The ring, and every time he says Rhubarb Jones, I laugh.
I love it.
We get the Great Muta versus the legendary Greg Evans, who has now wrestled Steamboat and Flair, and now is wrestled Muta. During the match, PS says to JR, "You're prejudiced."
Yes. And he was. Oh, that's the biggest theme. You know what? That is one of the biggest things on this rewatch, or really for me, watch, because I came to realize during this that I hadn't watched Wrestle War 89 as a whole show. I'd only seen the main event, the quote unquote main event. JR was racist as fuck at this time. He was not about anyone not white, kind of okay with black, sort of, you know?
If they played football,
yeah.
If you're black and played football, he's pro you. Yeah. So PS calling him out, just great.
Amazing.
They give us the replay of the Varsity Club title win, the Teddy story, Road Warriors cut a promo. I mean, I always want a mic in front of them.
Sure.
And it's just funny, as watching this interview, it just really occurred to me, Hawk went through life with that hair.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if it's like it started as like a bald era, and he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to take the whole middle. But like, he fucking grocery shopped with that haircut. And I think without the makeup, it's probably kind of startling. It's probably less startling than with the makeup.
Easily.
It's just weird. But yeah, so we got Road Warriors of Varsity Club. Again, kind of a carryover that we're kind of taking in.
Yeah.
We get the Raider versus Rick Steiner. The Raider is the artist formerly known as Randy Barber.
Oh, okay.
I kind of remember that name. So yeah, I remember that name.
Jobber to the stars.
Ric Flair gets his last chance again.
Yes.
As a manager as a former manager, that gave me very strong. You're getting a second final warning. So yeah, Ric Flair's getting his last chance again. Okay, then we get Ron Simmons versus Ricky Steamboat.
This was fun.
And so Ron Simmons disappeared for a while. We may have filled our quota of non-whites on the show or something, because he just disappeared. And now that he's come back, he doesn't really care about the drugs so much anymore. He's not telling the kids not to do drugs. He currently comes back just as a heel because he's wrestling Steamboat, and then he wrestles later somebody else. So it was cool though. Steamboat was like wrapped around his back and cradled it into the pin. It was such a cool finish because Simmons is just such a physical force that Ricky kind of pulling that little smooth shit out for the finish was kind of nice. But yeah, we're seeing Ron Simmons versus Ricky Steamboat. That was exciting. I was like, "Ooh, cool!" Give me like that Hacksaw Sting match. Just kind of pops out of nowhere and surprises me.
And it was for the World Championship.
Yeah, you haven't wrestled for 3 months. You got a championship match. Good job.
You're jacked, bro.
Yeah. He goes in the back. He goes, Jim, I'm getting a title match. Yes, you are, sir.
I do love
book that right now for you.
Yeah, we got you. Please don't kill me. We have the antithesis of Ron Simmons, Jim Cornette, cutting a promo. And I love this promo because he straight up just goes, I know we've been the shits lately. Like, he basically just comes out and says, like, we've been misbooked. It's been garbage. He might have been better off just straight up going, George Scott got fired, and I'm on the committee. So we're about to have matches, which, by the way, they don't. So that's weird. They end up actually... So when I looked into this like deeper, they actually at this time, I believe, straight up left WCW. They were gone.
Okay.
For like 2 weeks, and they were back.
Okay, yeah, because this felt like Cornette was giving a promo writing off the Midnights.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like you haven't been seeing us, you're not going to see us for these reasons. But then they pop up again, like for Music City Showdown, and so it's like.
Yeah.
Weird. Right? Is that where they pop up, or they pop up in some episode?
Yeah,
and it's just weird because it's like they're going away, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, they're back. So that was a little confusing to me.
Yeah, well, this is that weird transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trying to justify shit and backfill logic, but except for me, from that promo, I did not expect to see the Midnights for a bit.
Yeah. And then they're just right back. And they're doing jobs, by the way. They don't end up doing much for a long time. And
it looks like a Luger match to end the show and ends into a brawl with PS. So
there's a great line from Hayes here. Man, you're like 7-Up. You've never had it, and you never will. That's a good one. Good job, Michael. This was fun. I'll say this. The Michael Hayes-Lex Luger feud, if you look at it on its fucking face... this isn't moving a needle. This is nothing in your mind. But then when you add that Michael Hayes, this is what I take from it. I think he realized this is my chance to get fucking over on a national stage. And he made such a point going into this thing. I don't need help, which we'll get into how Wrestle War ends. But either way.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great. It's all great. Yeah. But he knew this is my chance. Bam. Yeah.
Fuck buddy.
Fuck yeah.
Those guys, those losers.
And he knew too, I think he was very aware, like, I can verbally eat up Lex Luger. So I'm gonna. And he did. For the big feuds and stories from this period we're listening to, that's my favorite. That's the one I'm most interested. It's freshest. Yeah.
It's fresh. It's two competitors, who can go in the ring. Like you said, it's a good contrast of the mic skills.
Yeah.
But I think going into the pay-per-view, I think that's the match I was most looking forward to.
Me too. Yeah. Well, what about the start of the 422 WCW episode with the Unhinged Road Warriors promo on Varsity Club number 720? But they did mention they were brothers, and I totally forgot that originally that was the gimmick here. They were brothers from Chicago.
Yes.
Which is weird. I really, truly don't think I've ever heard them mention that. I haven't seen a lot of their older stuff, I think, on a regular basis. So that threw me off. They're like, my brother here. And I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay.
Well, it could be like my blood brother, like the BCC are brothers as well. Okay. Who knows? But Road Warriors, this is the one where we know more about wrestling than you'll ever forget Kevin Sullivan. And I'm like,
okay.
Flip the floppity on that one, my friend. You kind of messed that up. Greg Evans versus PS. He's burying Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Gonna have Luger at the pay-per-view. Something for me to get excited about. We get Rip Morgan and Secret Service Jack Victory versus Randy Rose and Ranger Ross.
Oh.
And I have dubbed Ranger Ross and Randy Rose as the Pirates. Do you know why?
No. Why?
Because of all its R's.
Yeah, there's way too many R's going on over there, and this was not great. This is just like, let's throw guys that don't matter together, and it's like, but no one matters.
Like 75% of pins are just like weird shit.
Yeah.
Secret Service Jack Victory thinks he got the win. He didn't. Randy rolls him up for a victory. Like everything, like 75% of matches, it's just confusions on what pinfall has occurred when.
Yeah.
And so it's what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's not the match I've been clamoring for.
No.
Like I said, compared to the previous cycle of episodes, like no, it's not quite the same as the first Family versus Varsity Club. It's not bringing that same heat for me.
Nah. And then we fucking have more Dick Murdoch and Bob Orton shit. And it's fucking... I literally wrote at the one point, am I watching 82 Mid-South or is this like early WCW? Like, let's fucking relax.
Gary Hart goes hard at Dick Murdoch's dad. I love that.
Know. Your daddy.
Your daddy sucked. Your daddy was going to lose. Also, we have the introduction this episode of Tonga the Polynesian Savage. Much like Tyler the Creator and Cedric the Entertainer, yes. He is Tonga the Polynesian Savage.
And JR swears we'll see more of him in the future, and we so far have not. So that was great as well. Okay. But he was a good worker.
Actually, JR just thinks he joined the Samoan SWAT team. He doesn't know the difference.
He's part of that Samoan SWAT deal. Yeah, another Flair-esque promo, I say. He's just going through the motions here. It's so clear. He's like, yeah, let's just get back to me having the belt and the big angle I'm going to end up doing. That's all this is. He's definitely an afterthought material. And then we got the fucking barn burner, Bob Emery against Bob Orton, not Jr. And who cares? This was dumb.
It happened.
We get a replay of Sting and Iron Sheik's thing from last week. No developments on that. Just, hey, you probably didn't watch last week. Let's fucking force feed it into your face again.
One thing I did check was last week when the Danger Zone was happening. Yeah. They had Cougar J on, and I asked, why isn't this Vincent Young? And I found out the reason. His last appearance with the company was March 16th.
Yep, he's gone. George Scott.
Great. Like, everybody was signed to 2-month contracts. It's like fucking crazy. Yeah. So last week I talked about Sting and Luger calling Magnum Maggie.
Yeah.
And so this week was the start of Rossi.
Yeah. Oh, Rossi.
They kept calling Jim Ross Rossi, and I kept getting confused with like Japanese wrestling.
Yes.
So that was another interesting. Just they're just popping themselves. I think Iron Sheik is now with Rip Morgan because Rip Morgan's specialty is carrying flags. So if you're a wrestler and you need a flag carried, do I have a man for you? Rip Morgan, he's available. It's number one skill on his resume. We've now changed the Iranian dumbbells to Persian clubs, I believe.
Yes.
And in case you didn't remember, Iron Sheik is wearing an Iran shirt.
Yeah. Just remember that. Very important.
You might forget. Like, I think he might be British. Iran. Forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God that you have that shirt on.
Yeah. Didn't know any better. We get Samoan SWAT team versus the First Family.
Amazing. This was fun.
Ooh. I'm excited for this. It sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ends in fuckery. Good match. Yes. Ends in fuckery, of course.
Spivey decapitates Steiner, by the way, on the floor. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and this is kind of the start of like the Varsity Club just interferes in every tag team match.
Yeah.
It's just their thing at this point. And again, I prefer to have a mic in front of Danny than every match being like this, but it was a great match. Every time I say Gilbert and Sullivan, it makes me laugh. But yeah, except SST gets a win. I'm here for that. Hopefully their winning streak continues.
It does for a little bit. I do like Paulie acting like he won the lotto here off of the count out win. And then this is very mysterious in many ways. JYD beats the Red Devil, very formidable opponent. But here's what I really want to discuss. So we do this whole fucking angle with him and Muta. At the pay-per-view, JYD is not there. And I don't know if it's a no-show. I don't know if it's a release straight up. I'm sitting here, I'm watching the TVs. There's no mention. Literally the day before was TV, so they had time. So I think he literally just no-showed the show. I think probably for the best. But yeah, this was weird. They do this whole angle with Muta and JYD and no payoff.
Did you see when he's gone from the company? Is like right here?
I haven't looked. I know there's a time where he like fucks off for a little bit, but he's back by 90 because he's part of the Dudes with Attitudes with Sting, Paul Orndorff, the Steiners, and that might be it. Luger maybe. No, Luger was a heel. So yeah, we got that barn burner to wait for in the next year or so. So that'll be great.
The red the Red Devil. I thought that was just going to be JR's name for Muta. Even Cage Match doesn't know who he is. They're like, he's the Red Devil. Who fucking knows?
He's the devil.
Yeah. And then we end with the Muta confrontation with JYD.
Yeah. We did get the fucking miss, though. It was pretty sweet. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, anything the miss shows up, you're happy.
Yeah. And then I watched this. The worldwide syndicated little special tag. I thought this was neat. And it popped up on my YouTube algorithm, and I was like, oh. And the best
me.
Yeah, exactly. The best part about Worldwide at this time was Lance Russell on commentary. I hate that we never got that on mainstream WCW at this time. He was fucking great here. This is clipped to shit. It's Michael Hayes and Ric Flair against Lex Luger and Ricky Steamboat. A fun little match that ends up with the classic back suplex, but I got the fucking Nux, brother, by Hayes to get the win. This airs a week before the pay-per-view, too. So, like, great job, oddly enough, of WCW getting people fucking pumped. Like, oh, Hayes has a chance to beat Luger, I think. So that was neat. I thought that was a fun little wrinkle. And I love that how weird syndicated TV was, because that aired the same day as the TBS show. Probably in the morning, depending where you live.
Yeah. One was in the morning and one was at night, I believe. I just looked up JYD. His last match is April 30th.
Okay.
And then he returns December 1st.
There you go.
So yeah, he was there, and then pay-per-view came up and he said, I'm good.
And I don't know if it was an injury or whatever. It might very well be. But he fucks off, and I know he had demons, unfortunately. So 429 starts with the classic Flair with Chicks promo.
Okay, but also I want to start with, they promised us 3 main events.
Oh.
We'll touch back on this later, what the third main event is. We're getting 3 main events tonight.
I can't imagine any of them being main events, but yeah, this was okay. Steamboat needs someone around him when he's cutting a promo, or he is the most wooden person ever. I figured that out. He would have been great for the Nitro era because everything was in the ring face to face. He would have been fine. But you expect him to stand in a room by himself with a microphone? Fuck it. No way is that ever going to work out.
The Steamboat like reign is just so underwhelming.
It's like, in hindsight, why did you even change the title then? Like, why? I get it, but like,
I get it, but yeah, he just couldn't carry it.
He wasn't
on the mic, and the whole thing was, everything was just. I mean, yes, he went against Ron Simmons, but the whole reign is just Ric Flair 3 times. So it's just, it sucks.
Not great.
Bob Orton versus Trent Knight. We were super excited for this one. Murdoch interferes.
Yeah.
Cool. JYD versus Ron Simmons. This is probably one main event.
Yes. And it was.
And Teddy Fast counts it. Teddy Fast counts it.
Yep. This is the straw that broke the camel's back, by the way.
Apparently, yeah.
Yep.
Because then we get our good buddy Jimmy H comes out and fires Teddy as a ref.
Yeah. He's under suspicion. No, he just did it right in front of your face. There's no suspicion here. I wrote.
Oh my God.
Muta kills Lee Scott. That's all I wrote, by the way, about it.
I have Muta versus Lee Scott. No notes. Sheik and Persian clubs.
Here we go.
I sent you those pictures. I mean, just the funniest looking fucking thing. And so he does it himself this week, and then next week Sting's going to come out to challenge on it, right? Okay. But yeah, Sheik's doing his little circus act out there. Cool for you, buddy. You can do that. SST versus George South and Greg Evans.
Destroyed.
Another barn burner.
Yeah.
Another Steamboat promo. I'm sure you remember every word to it.
Yeah, because it went like this. And Ric Flair, I'm very excited to have another match with you.
Ric Flair, yes, I beat you. And yes, there were questions. And yes, I must give you a rematch. And yes.
My wife let me leave the house.
My wife let me leave the house. My nuts are now in my pockets. Now our second main event is Michael Hayes versus Stephen Casey.
Woo! Barn burner, buddy.
That's our second main event.
I figured out Steve Casey's thing. He actually does end up being something. The only problem is it is on a very small scale because he was Stephen Dane in the Global Wrestling Federation in the early 90s. So he has a little bit of a push there. That is the pinnacle of his career, by the way.
Hey, if you're a new company, Stephen Casey looked impressive. He's been on TV. Like, he's not a bad. I mean, if you're expecting him to carry your federation, probably won't win. But it's a decent starting point, I guess. And then we get First Family versus Rotunda and Dr. Death. Another fuckery finish because rinse repeat.
God, that's all they did. But here we go.
It was so frustrating because there's 2 tag titles, and both of them revolve around the Varsity Club, and neither can finish in a clean way. Like, it just
no. 5-6 is very notable for one very big reason, and I want to see if you
at the end of the show, yes.
Start
with.
I'm talking about the debut of the Dynamic Dudes, brother.
That's the end of the show, isn't it? It's not like the last thing in the episode. Yeah, it's the last thing in the episode. They announce it early. They hype us for it.
It is.
Dynamic Dudes will be here. Flair comes out to start with. He has 13 women or something. And it seems like he's coming out to do commentary for the Steamboat match, but then he doesn't.
No.
So I was just like, okay, Rick just showed up. They paid 10 women to show up tonight, and then he walks away because he did his 2 minutes. He's good. And then Steamboat took on somebody.
Lee Scott.
Oh, Lee Scott's getting all the fucking rub after losing to Muta. He gets his title match against Ricky Steamboat. That's how it works here.
Absolutely.
We get Dr. Death versus Animal in a slap fight.
Oh my god!
A push contest.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I still am not clear on what this was.
They were like, how do we keep this angle going? Because God forbid we actually pull the trigger here. I know, a bullshit deal that never even started to begin with. Really.
Everything just seems pointless.
Yeah.
So that's why for this front of episodes, I'm just like, okay. Like Dr. Death and Steve Animal get into a shoving match. I mean, it's the amount of contact you get wrestling, actually. Like, you get more contact wrestling. Just fucking wrestle. Like, that's weird. I don't know.
Fucking really weird, man.
Steve-O comes out with another bad promo.
Awful.
We get Sting versus Rip Morgan, which gives us some Sting shit. Or Sheik shit.
Fun.
Get Bob Orton in a Gary Hart promo.
Awful.
Really hyping us up for that. Dick Murdoch, Bob Orton feast. Okay, and then we get the important thing from the episode, the Dynamic Dudes debut.
What about Teddy
versus
Long?
the Raider and George South.
What about Teddy Long's promo? Where he announces
Teddy.
I'm a pro, Jim Ross. You call me Mr. Long. That was good as fuck.
Man, Teddy gets confusing for me, especially at Wrestle War.
Yes.
But we get Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas as Dynamic Dudes. You know, they come down their skateboards. They have a cool video package to introduce them. They seem really radical and gnarly.
Yeah. And maybe even tubular.
I don't think totally tubular though.
Okay,
Maybe partially
right.
tubular. Okay. I remember I am of the 80s. I
Oh yeah.
know the degrees of tubularity.
You
And they're
watched
not totally tubular.
Encino, man.
Fuck yeah. I was there, man. I was there during the Brendan Fraser
I was there.
unveiling.
How about the final countdown video with the shittily spliced in NWA footage? This was peak late 80s. Just make it a music video. You know, like MTV has fully permeated the culture. Like, this is beautiful.
And if you watch this in an MTV video, there's really not much difference.
No.
It's
this
just the
ruled.
same.
I'm telling you right now, if we were talking about this in May of '89, we would be absolutely like, bro, that ruled so hard.
It's Our My Way from WrestleMania 17 or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Rob Naylor's fucking, magnum opus. But yeah, it was great. Loved it. And you know what, though? Hey, at least they hyped the fucking pay-per-view, because last show they didn't talk about Clash ever.
Mm-hmm. One other thing we didn't mention in here was the change in the studio.
Yes.
Right? It's about halfway through this run. They switched to the studio, and that's kind of where we lose PS on commentary, right?
Yeah. I don't know what
Pretty
happened.
much.
I don't know either, because I do know one thing. They do make it mandatory for the whole roster at this point that everyone's got to live in Atlanta. They pulled the WWE card like back in the day with Orlando. So, but here's the weird part. I thought Michael Hayes, Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. So I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe at this time he was like, I'm not living in Atlanta, and he's over. So
maybe it's like you're too involved with the wrestling story, so we kind of have to get you off commentary. But
yeah,
a replacement would have been wonderful, because we were excited about our situation. We had the Danger Zone.
It was great.
We had Michael on commentary to pump up these heels, and they took both of these things away from us. Like, come on, guys.
I don't get
Music City Showdown, Wrestle War 89. I love the shirts.
Me too.
I did go on eBay to see if any were available. They aren't.
Yeah.
The Oak Ridge Boys will be here.
Sick. Yeah.
Come on now, people.
My mom loved the Oak Ridge Boys.
My dad did too. I don't know if he was an Oak Ridge Boys fan. I don't know if he loved them, but he was a fan. He definitely had some of the tapes.
Yeah.
And we get our commentary dream team of Bob and JR.
Yeah, love it.
Is Bob doing commentary on like the other shows?
Yeah, he's doing.
Okay.
So right now, if I'm correct, Lance Russell did Worldwide, and then I think he did Main Event, and then like the color switched around. I think Bob Caudle did, and this makes me kind of want to watch more too. I think Main Event's commentary team at this time is Kevin Sullivan on color with Bob, which is great. It's great because he's just fucking with Bob the whole time. With Lance,
that's exactly what we want.
With Lance, it kind of like cycles through. Like I think he did some stuff with Kevin, but not a lot. But yeah, it's fuckery at this point with commentary on the syndicated shows, because it's like, I don't know how long Lance lasts, and then with Bob, it's like, I don't know when they finally cut bait, because there's no way he left. Like this is his home thing, so I don't know. It was weird.
But Bob's like Milton. He's just showing up every day in the basement with the stapler, ready to do some commentary. Just don't fire me, guys. Just don't fire me. I'm here. Our first match.
This rule.
Doug Gilbert versus the Great Muta.
Memphis legend, Doug Gilbert. He's a baby here too. I don't know how old he was, but he's a baby. He's not as nuts at this point, maybe. Yeah, Doug Gilbert, man. You want to talk about an old? He's a last of a dying breed. He can work his ass off, but maybe not the most mentally together human being in the world. But this was fun. He was there for Muta. He knew the fucking assignment. Get killed, and he did. Eddie comes out. I like that little wrinkle.
Mm-hmm.
And they say it on commentary, his brother Eddie's out here. And then immediately the finish.
It's kind of funny, right? Because now if we look at it, we go, oh, okay, this is going to be JYD versus Muta. And it's like, how the hell do you settle on Eddie or Doug all of a sudden? Like, we haven't seen him at all. And all of a sudden they just pop him in for pay-per-view first match. Boom.
That's why I think it's a no-show, because it is Nashville. And I know the Gilberts are from Tennessee. So that makes me feel like he's literally just in the right place at the right time, probably visiting Eddie because he's back home. I think they're from
Did you bring your
Knoxville.
trunks?
Yeah, did you bring your trunks, brother? Hey, listen, every wrestler, that's how you get on shows. He had his gear.
He's like a superhero. He just has him under his pants the whole time. Hops into a shower stall.
I mean, yeah.
We get a Flair promo where Flair again reiterates, "You have to beat me."
Not really.
Or where? Yeah, I'm like, we really understand the concept of wrestling matches. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Ranger Ross versus Hacksaw.
I gotta admit, this was good.
Ranger Ross, I noticed, he's not a real American, R.I.P. Rick Derringer, but he's a true American. Oh. They label him as a true American and not a real American.
Thank God they cleared that up for us.
It is. He's our alternative to Hulkamania.
He's everywhere in this, man. He's jumping over the top to the floor. Like, I'll say this. Ranger Ross proved in this match he had ability. Don't know what the fuck happened. You know, I mean, probably not the most charismatic human in the world. Didn't really help him. But then again, it's like, is it that or Butch Reed's, a great worker? So maybe he just was like, plug in this shit and figure it out. So it's hard to really tell. Of course, Butch gets the win here. It's not like, 1991 WCW yet.
Yeah, Ranger Ross is losing on his second pay-per-view already, so I'm not sure what the confidence level there is in him, but
yeah, it's not long though that Butch and Ron are Doom. So this is like proto. You can see, yeah. So we're getting that soon. Woman's already doing the angle with Stock and Rick Steiner, by the way. They did the first one of that, I think, on 415 or something. I did notice that. They did a good job of making it really subtle, so you're like, oh, okay, that's a crazy little fan, but I know that it's Nancy. So.
Oh, speaking of,
yeah,
for this pay-per-view, they kept showing that woman in the front row, and her hair was like a work of art. Like what she accomplished with her Aquanet was quite amazing.
She literally created global warming with her fucking.
They showed her 3 or 4 times, and every time I was amazed by her hair.
Peak 89, man.
Dick and Bob are in a bull rope match.
This could have been awesome. They just didn't fucking. Here's my thing. This needed blood, and it wasn't there. So it just looks like shit. It's the same problem that modern WWE has, where they want to do 9 gimmick matches, but they don't commit to the gimmick. Like, guys, if you're going to have plunder and bullshit, there's got to be blood, man. This got to be realistic.
Go all out.
They don't do that here. Although the fucking choking with the rope to me is a little more violent than even the blood. I was like, bro, that's okay.
My uncle died that way. What? Like yeah, it's like very hardcore there. But still, like I said, just Bob and Dick. I mean, okay. I may call Dick Murdoch Trevor Murdoch at some point, and if so, you know who I'm talking about.
Basically, same.
Get a PS promo. Mike's always just good. I mean, he's just good on the mic. He's the one, like you said. He's the guy you're like confident. We give him a mic. Yeah. It's not going to go off course. He'll go get across the point of the match. Make himself look good. Make himself look good. And make us see the villain side in a different way.
Yeah. He's just 3-dimensional. That's the thing.
Then we get the SST versus the Dynamic Dudes.
This ruled.
Why did Paul E get so loud during the match?
I don't know, because I think the crowd was white hot, actually, for this. I was shocked at how over the dudes were so fast.
There was one point where I think the Samoan SWAT team had a submission move on. And it was almost like Paulie grabbed the ring announcer mic said something like for 5 words. And I'm like, it was so weird. Like, it was just weird. Yeah, so is that what happened? He actually grabbed the mic?
He did grab the mic. Yeah, I did see that. I think.
See, he is dangerously. He's Paul E. dangerously. He grabs the mic during the match.
And give us the danger zone back then. I think that's what he was doing. I swear.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? Maybe he ran out of his money for his 3 minutes.
I hope they go to that. I hope they do. They're like, I got the money back because SST won more matches for me.
Teddy Long. Okay, Teddy Long's fired.
Yeah.
But he also is just wandering around ringside taking notes.
Yeah.
So did he get like credentials from Pro Wrestling Illustrated to be a cameraman and then switch? Like, how is he at ringside if he was fired?
Yeah, because they didn't even do the old school thing where he bought a ticket, right? That would have at least explained it. No, he's just at ringside. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, he's just fucking wandering like a weirdo.
They mentioned it earlier in the show, and
Yeah.
then he probably shows up for like 3 or 4 matches outside and is kind of just taking notes. And I'm just like, maybe he's just cool with the security people, and the security people don't watch the show and don't know he's fired. I don't know.
Yeah, really.
It was weird. Luger versus PS.
Oh, here we go, man. This was awesome. Yeah. This was way better than it should have been.
Yeah, great match. I'm going to go into the pay-per-view and see what they end up ranking everything.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, just a strong match. I kind of forgot the finish. So it was a surprise for me.
Matsuda actually shows expressions here. I was like, wow, he tried in this. So that's how big of a deal this thing was. I also wrote, it's really neat because if I'm not mistaken, Matsuda was the one that trained Luger in Florida. I believe it was Hiro Matsuda that he went to. And so that's neat. There's a moment on the floor where he kind of like gives him the boots, you know, kind of like, all right, kid, here you go. Yeah, I think Luger was part of that. I mean, I know Ron Simmons was a Matsuda guy. So usually Florida Territory break-ins, they train with Matsuda.
Man, it's weird. On Cage Match, the Dynamic Dudes match has a higher rating than this match.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not surprised by that for this reason. I think a lot of people at the time and even now look at like, because, you know, they did more athletic shit in the tag match, I guess. And so people get blinded by that. But this match had it all. This had good athletics, but it had sound psychology. A lot of people don't have the patience for the rest hold shit. I think that's where people start being weird about it. I don't feel like there was a lot of rest holds here, though. I feel like everything felt like it had torque on it. It was important. I don't know. I think people are weird about that.
I mean, it felt to me. It felt like a pretty good paced match. You know, Michael Hayes is doing his shit healery stuff. We go 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty long for a deluxe match.
Definitely.
But at the end, we get Bam Bam coming down to ring and fucks over Luger and gets that title win for PS. And it was fucking dope. Especially after he's shit talking the three birds, 2 weeks ago. So.
I did write, though, rejoice for now. Because, as is the story of Terry Gordy's career, it was not for long. But, hey, we have this moment, right? And Nashville. And a lot of people don't realize, again, and I'll say this, the committee immediately is making an impact because they're understanding, like, ooh, local pops. Terry Gordy worked the Goulas territory back in the day. It was centered in Knoxville, Nashville area. So everyone knows Terry Gordy. He's like kind of their guy. It would be like if Darby Allin ended up going to fucking, the shit place, but he became the top guy. And you're kind of like, okay, but he's one of our guys, right? So,
and Bam Bam's huge. Bam Bam's huge. Like, he stands out in the crowd. You know who that is interfering when you see him at the ringside.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. You're not confusing him with Buddy at the very, the differences between the three birds. But yeah, I mean, to me, I thought it was, good match, good strong match. I mean,
great.
After Flair Steamboat, it's the best one in the show.
Easily.
I would say, right, pretty easy.
Yeah.
Our next match, we get Sting defeats the Iron Sheik in 2 minutes.
And sadly, it was the right move. I mean, it was good right till the end, and I went, ooh, good, because Iron Sheik didn't get exposed.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, we spend 5 minutes every week on this stupid fucking story for it to end in 2 minutes. And again, do I want it to go 4 minutes? Not really. But it happened. It's a match. Sting's a dominant TV champion. We'll take that.
Sure. I mean, it's a good ending, but it's also, like you said, it's like, think of all the time we could have spent on Hayes Luger, which ended up giving us something. Imagine all the time we could have spent on The fucking I don't know anything. Ranger Ross. Let's try to get him over more than he ever got. You know, I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020, but it's like you could have done a lot of shit with that. The Danger Zone could have still been a thing instead of fucking Dick Murdoch and Bob Orton and then that fucking shit that was a waste of time.
Yeah. It's weird when it's like, oh, I like these things, and then they say, no, we're taking away these things because they actually helped the show. That's why I like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that match was nothing. Then we get Flair Steamboat.
Yeah.
And again, this is weird to me because it's not the main event.
Oh yeah,
it's the same thing they did. It's the same thing they did last time on Clash.
Yep.
They make it earlier, and when you look at the other two matches, so we have Flair and Steamboat go here for over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not the main event. We have two more matches, and they go a total of 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Between the two matches. So
I have no idea.
It just feels so fucking weird. I don't understand how they're structuring these shows, and it's not like I kind of got it with Clash, where it's like, hey, maybe we run overtime. It's live TV. We can't go into Matlock or whatever.
Yeah.
But with pay-per-view, you don't got that worry, man. Like,
I know.
Do your shit last. You're cool. Like, yeah, it's just weird.
I think that's Turner being Turner, right? They're so used to everything being TV that I think no one gave them. With WCW, sometimes it is that simple of like, probably nobody gave them the Iggy. Like, hey, we don't need like alternate matches. We can just like have structured cards and have this be the main event, man. Like, it's not that.
And so, I mean, when we look at it, it's pay-per-view. These pay-per-view events are still a new thing. You know, about 5 years between the closed circuit and all that. And so you understand sometimes that there's not a formula yet.
Yeah.
But a typical formula is your main events at the end of the show. It's kind of been that way for like 80 years. And so for them to just switch it up all of a sudden, it's just so bizarre.
Well, Mania 5, the comparable show to this, you know, the main event was Hogan and Savage. There was no alternate. There was nothing after. It was Hogan.
We didn't go to Kamala. and Hercules for the match after.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird. I mean, this match, we got 3 judges at ringside.
Yep. Pat O'Connor.
And I kind of had questions because I'm like, in my head, it was only for a time limit draw, but then I realized, if there's a count out, if there's a disqualification, the judges are going to be make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
But is it Luthez as well?
Yeah, Luthez, Pat O'Connor, and of course Terry Funk.
The match starts pretty slow.
Yeah.
Rick's doing his mind games shit. I said I wish we had PS on commentary.
Yeah.
Because Bob's really not adding much, and we're getting nothing really from the where wrestlers are going at it. Jim Ross is giving some good insights, but I wish I missed the heel announcer here.
Yeah.
Ricky, there's a spot where Ricky's on top rope and Flair shakes the rope and he falls outside, and that was rough looking.
That was very rough. There were a lot of floor bumps here. So that must have been like the era's like, ooh, we're taking bumps on the floor, like they definitely tried to make this feel much more intense than the other two, but it was okay. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, I think out of the 3 matches, my least favorite.
Yeah.
Just their focus on the judges. It was just, it's like me and you being freshman roommates in college and making a plan about how to be the sock out the door if one of us gets laid this weekend.
Yeah.
It's like something that's never happened before, but just in case we have these judges prepared, in case it goes an hour, even though none of their matches have gone an hour. And like,
that's weird.
It the same thing happened last time where Ric Flair's legs under the rope. The judges can't help with that. So the whole judge thing was like, we need a gimmick for this 3rd match. Yeah. And that's what they came up with. I mean, I would have maybe preferred a Iron Man match, but they're also setting up Terry Funk here to kind of reinsert him back into the world. So I guess it makes sense. But as the 3rd last match, it just still feels kind of weird.
It's super fucking weird.
One thing I did like was at one point they cut to the judges at the table, and Luthez and Pat O'Connor are both making notes in their little notebook, and Terry Funk's sitting there, and you can just tell like the producers were like, "Hey guys, we're gonna be cutting to you. Write down notes." And the other two guys, I would pay
Yeah.
money to see what their notes were at the end of the show.
This is the shits. I got paid too little to fucking sit here. I'm not even watching this match, you know.
I'm just gonna say Flair at the end, anyways. Nobody's really paying attention. Nobody's auditing me, right?
They already told us the finish. That would have been great. They just like zoom in on the paper, and it's just like Flair's getting it back. You're like, shit.
Well, one thing in this match is they don't make tables like they used to.
No. Oh man. Yeah, that whole thing though, masterful. I did think the finish was a little. I mean, you know, the slam. They tried to do the Savage Steamboat finish. It didn't come across as slick to me. Flair just kind of gets the flash pin, 6th world title. They put that over, which at the time was crazy. The only guy that ever got close to that was Harley Race, and that was at the end of his career, and Flair's still in his prime. Nashville's losing it. JR comes in for the post match, and I thought this was fucking brilliant. Just Funk coming in and interjecting himself.
Well, at the end of the match, yes, I mean, it's a good match. They go 31 minutes. At the end, fast pin. Ricky shakes Rick's hand, kind of like, "Hey, you were the better man tonight." He departs. JR comes in to interview Rick, and Terry Funk just wanders over.
Yeah, he's not letting that money train get away without him jumping on. He's won a title match right away. He wants to just come right back in, get a title match, and I like it because Flair's like, listen, nah, we're not doing that. Which for today would be unheard of. I mean, we see all these fucking fucking YouTubers, blah blah blah. They just come in and get title matches, and everyone's like, well, yeah, they're over. Back then, this shows you like, no, there's a hierarchy, and he even puts over.
There are rankings.
There's a top 10 for the world championship, and I'm my schedule's based on that. And I'm like, man, it makes you go, I really wish this was still a thing. It does add credence to everything you do. It doesn't, no matches are less than when you really do take it to account. Now, granted, they didn't fucking do it either, but they at least fucking put it over in promos and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's two ways this is going. One is Ric Flair says there is a process to get a title match. Now, admittedly, Greg Evans, I don't think is following this process, but Terry Funk will. But we also know Ric Flair's probably a little scared of Terry Funk because he knows he can do stuff. So it's like, no, I'm pushing you back. Like, go get in shape. I'll deal with you a year from now. Like, I don't got to deal with you right now until you get to my level. So it gives Rick kind of this both sides, and then it's just kind of weird. All of a sudden, we're like turning Rick face at the end. So it felt very sudden, but Rick's kind of been on his own.
Yeah.
He has, hero at ring for whatever that does. So it kind of makes sense, but it's also a little out of nowhere to me.
Definitely out of nowhere. You can tell this was a big pivot. I think you got to remember, the booking committee was inherited this angle. So to them, they're probably like, let's get the fuck out of here. And Funk coming back is a jolt. It's a big change to your TV in a positive way because now you have a top heel right off the bat, and he's Terry Funk. He can do everything. So
with Over the Top and Roadhouse coming out.
Yes.
The next probably 6 months to a year. So, I mean, if you look at those things that WWF has done to improve their product, getting Terry Funk in is a freaking coup with what he has kind of coming on the horizon, plus his skill.
Yeah. And we will get into very quickly how great those matches are. And, this is like a great time for WCW where they really did a good job of even guys that they brought in from elsewhere. They picked the guys that could fucking work. It wasn't like, let's get Warlord back in or whatever. It's like, no, we're not just going for the names. They tried that with JYD and it failed. I think you're seeing like, they're like, oh fuck, we did Sheik, we did him. We lucked out with Butch Reed that he's a good hand. And so they can incorporate him into Doom. But like Bob Orton Jr., like this, we're getting away from that.
It's 5 people past their WWF prime. So it's kind of like that billionaire Ted thing of like, signing Hogan and Macho Man. They're signing the old guys. Like here, they're really signing the old.
They're going to the retirement home. So yeah, we have this great moment, right? You're like, woo, what a great ending. No, we got Joe Pedicino in the back talking to Nikita Koloff, and another one, a guy we have not seen in how long. He's just back, and he's a special ref. We haven't put it over at all that this is what we're doing. You talk about out of nowhere. I'm sitting there. I'm like, wow. I look at the little, Peacock like duration. I'm like, why is it showing there's 30 more minutes of the show? No way. And
are they doing a 30-minute recap at the end of the show?
Oh,
are they really doing a 30-minute recap?
No, unfortunately, it would have been better off. Joe Pedicino, though, great, just random name in history for me. He's pretty decent in the back, and Nikita.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I mean, Nikita's a wonderful surprise. Hey, we got a special referee because we know the varsity club's been fucking up every tag team match. So we got a special guest referee, Nikita. Might be somewhere along his wife's health journey, and they finally get a chance to get him back. He looks good. He looks bigger, I feel like, than the last time we saw him. So that was good. Did they recycle Rick's women for the cheerleaders?
Yes.
In this match?
Had to have.
Had to, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's your evening dress, here's your cheerleader outfit, we're paying you for 3 hours, like that kind of thing.
Like the Office thing where it's just like, all right, stripper, you need to answer these phones.
The thing that made me laugh the hardest in this match is they gave us a 60-minute time limit.
Oh,
they announced a 60-minute time limit. I'm like, I don't think any tag team match has gone over like 15. At least a title match. No. This match goes, even though there's a 60-minute time limit, the match goes 5 minutes.
What a waste. This was getting good, too. They hit the Doomsday on Williams. I'm like, this is going to be dope. And, of course, Sullivan pulls out Nikita. Bullshit finish again.
Again. The same as it ever was. The same as it ever was. One thing that was awesome, Road Warriors enter the ring, and the lights explode over the ring.
Yeah.
That is so much cooler than fireworks.
That was dope.
They the lights just, it's like the end of the Natural.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool entrance for them. But yeah, you get the fucking DQ finish and hands on the official Nikita, and same as it ever was. So
we don't go anywhere with this.
Yeah, we get five minutes in this match, and then we come back for First Family versus Kevin and Danny.
The main event.
Kevin is such a creep. Like, the way he stalks Missy, he is such a fucking creep.
Oh,
and
man.
he so excels at that role for whatever reasons. But I just love him all over Missy, like just chasing her around, and it's fucking funny, man. Rick gets attacked pre-match, with his jacket on, so he's basically down to one arm in the match. And I said every varsity club match ends in gang wars
every time.
Everything's just going, and so First Family win. How did it end?
Bullshit deal. Yeah, let's see here. It was like a fucking bullshit deal. Yeah, it was the DQ because Spivey domes Steiner in the head with a chair. Fucking insane.
Oh,
and so
it's weird. It doesn't say DQ here for the result though. So
maybe there was a roll up. Oh, there was. Yeah, I think Eddie got another bullshit roll up. They retained the belts.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's like a WWE Divas thing where it's like the roll up is the finishing move. And then after this match, we go back to Jim Herd, and Kev and Steve are stripped of the World Tag Title.
Oh, God.
I mean, I guess it leads us to a good place down the road, but it's just such a fucking weird thing of just having those damn titles.
On the pay-per-view, too, we're announcing this. Like, really? You couldn't have just, what are we doing?
Jim Herd's I've finally seen enough. That is so beyond where you think you'd be cutting things off at.
Yeah.
You shot a referee, and we do frown upon that. So we will be stripping you of the world title. You cannot murder referees. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I can't imagine what this next bit of television is going to give us because holy fuck. It's, it's the story of WCW. It's the most mixed bag ever. You got Sting developing, you got Luger developing, all this good stuff, Road Warriors, and then you've got the dynamic dudes.
Yeah, I'm looking ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Clash 7 card.
Oh. I bet it's a doozy.
The Terrorist versus Ranger Ross. So let's keep an eye out for the terrorist
Whoa.
over these next couple episodes.
Uh-huh.
Let me see who he is. Oh, just to spoil this for you, the terrorist is Jack Victory.
Of course.
Throw on a mask, buddy.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, here we go.
The third match at Clash 7.
Yep.
Are you ready for this? Cougar J and George South versus the Ding Dongs.
Oh my God, they're here. If that doesn't make you tune in next week, I don't know what's gonna.
The Ding Dongs. Norman the Lunatic. Is that Norman Smiley?
No. Norman the Lunatic is Muckin' Singh. He's Bastion Booger.
Bastion Booger. Okay, yes. I see him there, yeah. Jesus. God. Bill Irwin?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bill Irwin. Wild Bill Irwin. Another guy, Global Wrestling Federation star. Wow.
Man. Well, it's going to be wild to see how we get from here to this card.
Yeah. What way is that? That's got to be June, right? Is that June?
June 14th.
Oh,
we do get a tag team match of the Steiner brothers.
Thank
God.
God.
That kind of coming up too. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
There's nothing better than an early Steiner brothers job match. We are going to see so many just total murders. Sid Vicious should be coming in soon too. We got a lot coming up here.
Yeah, it's an interesting card. We got to get through about a month of shows.
Yeah. At some point, Spivey ends up with Teddy Long and they do the skyscrapers. I don't remember the original iteration. I want to say it was him and Sid, and then Sid gets hurt, and then of course they put old Mean Mark in there and we get that debut. But got a lot going on, man. Of course, the one thing they haven't fucked up yet is Muta. Thank God. You know, they keep that strong really throughout. But they are trying to find their identity and quickly, and Jim Herd is not doing them any favors with the Ding Dongs.
Yeah, I that card excites me more than Wrestle War 89 card excited me. So I'm at least excited, and maybe we'll get a Danger Zone back. That'd be kind of cool.
Please, we need it.
Yeah.
We really do need it. We need more people on the mic that are good. So
yeah, it was a rough patch for me personally. So hopefully, this next one maybe we'll bounce back a little bit, and the Ding Dongs versus Dynamic Dudes will be a Lucha Bros Young Bucks type situation, you know, a rivalry for the ages.
I hope so. We need it, and we appreciate you all for listening to this complete fucking clusterfuck of a era. We actually tried to make this more entertaining, by the way, because it's a lot worse than we even probably are iterating to you. But yeah, I mean, as usual, your handle, the JIMDB, because you got the greatest screen name in the world.
I am the JIMDB on all of your various socials.
And then I am, of course, Troubles Wrestling Pod on Instagram and Threads, and then on Bluesky, Troubles Weekly. I'm going to try to get more clips back up again. I thought that was fun. That kind of, it lets people know where I'm at, you know, in this journey of stupidity.
Because you see stuff. And you're just like, what the, you know, whether it's Sheik with the clubs or just this weird shit just happens.
Yeah.
And to be able to capture them and post them, it's great.
Yeah, I got some weird clips I'm going to throw up today, I think. But, yeah, that is all I have.
Watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling. Enjoy it. Don't be a dick. ETC. We'll see you next week.